Aloha and welcome to Week 11 of CM400C. As you start working on your final project, in which you will complete the mobile design process, step number 4, you will be tasked to think about your app brand, decide on a color palette, and visual design for your app's home screen. In this lecture, I will quickly discuss how branding has changed over time, what new questions designers have to answer with their designs. We will walk through a case study to learn more about how Trello brands itself and the role color plays in connecting users on an emotional level. Lastly, I will present a couple of examples of color palettes and home screen visual designs. So let's get started. Here are your readings for this week. Branding itself has gone through an evolution from a more prescribed methodology of creating a logo, design package, advertising, and marketing plan that includes messaging. Today, the branding seeks to understand and connect to the user on an emotional level through color and design. The designer has to think about the user's expectations, the memories they keep about their user experience, the stories that they will tell, and the relationship the user will have to the brand. For example, will the user be loyal to the brand or jump to another brand that sets better expectations through a more user-centered design? Lastly, as you commit to your visual design and color palette, you will start creating user expectations, which will include consistency in design and color, consistency in functionality, and consistency in features. So where do you start? Think through and answer the following questions. What are the core values of your brand? What does your brand value? Some examples could be efficiency, community building, academics, entertainment. What is your value proposition? In other words, how does your product solve user problems or improve the user's scenario through specific benefits achieved in your mobile design? What is your brand personality, and what colors will reflect your brand personality? Is your brand funny, serious, happy? What visual graphics will you create to communicate all of this to your user? Whether it's managing a team, writing an epic screenplay, or just making a grocery list, Trello is your sidekick for getting things done and staying organized. So this is really Trello's context phrase. Its brand mission, Trello's boards, lists, and cards enable you to organize and prioritize your projects in a fun, flexible, and rewarding way. Trello lets you work more collaboratively and get more done. Trello gives you a perspective over all your projects at work and at home. Let's walk through the Trello app, an app that you guys are all familiar with at this point, and break it down to understand Trello's brand personality. Is the brand serious, funny, friendly, charming? If you were to describe Trello as a friend, how would you describe its personality? How does the design and color palette make you feel? Try to examine how the Trello app brand connects to you emotionally. Are you more calm knowing that your projects are organized in one place? Does it meet your expectations? What aspect of the visual design allows you to meet your expectations for using the app? What user experience memories do you have so far, and why? What stories are you sharing with others about Trello? How would you describe your relationship with Trello? Frustrating, fun, productive, and why? What role does the branding and visual design have in building your user relationship with Trello? Do you feel like Trello meets its promise to its users? In other words, is Trello truly your sidekick for getting things done and staying organized? Visual design includes colors, fonts, images, and tone. It's important to maintain the brand personality via consistent visual design to maintain consistency. Trello maintains its blue and white color combination to maintain consistency throughout the main screens of the application. The dog graphic used in Trello walkthrough presents Trello as a friendly brand that creates loyalty and meets the needs of its users. As we all know, content is king in mobile development. Moreover, the ease at which users access that content is paramount. How is the content laid out and presented? In other words, how does app navigation allow users to quickly access the most important content? Do the visual elements like button images and tab bar graphics communicate app functionality and features well? Are the visual graphics and elements confusing or do not suit the function of the app? In the case of Trello, does the presentation of the content maintain a sense of task mastery, organization, and productivity? Lastly, the color palette should drive the visual design of the app. Now we're going to shift gears from brand personality and discuss the role of color in branding and how it's used to communicate the app's brand and how it connects the user on an emotional level. So we're going to look through different app icons and based on the color, some of the emotions associated with that color. So red. The use of red brings to mind excitement, youthfulness, and intensity. Orange. Orange is a friendly and cheerful color that can be used in place of more common colors such as reds and blues. Yellow is a bright and cheery color that can conjure a certain amount of warmth and optimism to its user. Blue, one of the most common colors used in app branding, lends itself to be trustful and dependable, something we feel when using the Trello app. Green is the color most often associated with money, but other reasons to choose green include peaceful, healthy, and prosperous connections to the color green. Purple lends itself as a color that exudes fun, creativity, and also has a playful nature. Gray exudes calmness and elegance. Now that I've gone over some colors and associated moods and emotional states that they present and communicate, it's time to think about the colors and derivative of colors that you want to use in your app to maintain your brand personality, content, and design, and of course, user experience. Once you decide on a color palette, you can start thinking about your brand layers, which include your core values, value proposition, personality, and visual language that will inspire a unique visual design for your home screen. On this slide is a former student's color palette for an app she designed along with the visual design of her home screen. Her mobile design included a login design pattern, therefore it's the home screen of the app. Notice which color she chooses for text versus background color. She chose to use the sea green color as the background color of the app, since the app's goal is to provide an easy way for users to count humpback whales during the whale counting events. Hence, the ocean theme of her app explains her use of sea green as a background color. Think about the strongest emotion and connection you want your users to feel and how that will influence your decision to use one color as a primary color and the other colors in a more complementary manner. Many of you shared that the Local IA app didn't really have brand consistency, and a lot of that was failure to start with a color palette to drive the visual design of the first version of the Local IA app. The inspiration behind this color palette was to evoke a sense of place, a representation of the colors you would see and experience at Heia Fish Pond. From the color palette, we got inspired to create a visual design for the home screen that exudes a sense of the intersection of the past and the present through a line drawing graphic that draws the user to invite them to engage and learn more about Heia Fish Pond. Once again, branding is the last step in the mobile design process. Without having a good sense of the basic architecture, wireframing, features, functionalities laid out in your mobile app design, it's really hard to start building your app brand and, of course, the visual design. Your app's personality is centered around connecting to your user emotionally and building a brand that provides a design that is responsible and meets the needs of the user. The content of the app should be easily accessible, and visual elements like button images and tab bar graphics should communicate app functionalities and features as well. Lastly, the color palette and the visual designs in your app should maintain your brand personality, content, and user experience so that ultimately you create brand recognition and loyalty. As always, please email me if you have any questions about this lecture. Have a great week and aloha.